chosen generation, called for to show His excellence. All I require for that God has given me. I know who I am. We are a chosen generation, called for to show His excellence. All I require for that God has given me. I know who I am. I know who God says I am. What He says I'm not. I know who God says I am. What He says I am. Where He says I'm not. I know who I am. I am who God. I'm walking in miracles. I need the life of the Lord. I'm walking in power. I'm walking in miracles. I need the life of the Lord. I'm walking in power. I'm walking in miracles. I need the life of the Lord. Take a look at me. I'm a wonder. It doesn't matter what you see now. You see His glory. I know who I am. Take a look at me. I'm a wonder. It doesn't matter what you see now. You see His glory. I know who I am.
That song is more than a rhythm. I live a life of favor. The Bible says God will bless the righteous. With favor, it will encompass him like a shield. You know what a shield means? Somebody will say, you know what? Even though they gave you the query, I will answer for you. That is as with a shield. Somebody will say, you know what? I fought for this contract. Go and execute it. Don't return anything. 100% take the money. That is favor like a shield. It happened in the Bible. Jacob and Esau. So give me something to eat. I want to give you the blessing. Let me go to the bush. Mother says, no. Take something in the house. What if my father says this and he curses him? Say, let the curse be upon me. So when he got to the father said, how come you found it quickly? He said, the Lord your God brought it my way. Is it not God? Yes. You know, sometimes you want God to come. Your house cannot accommodate him. You will die. So he will send somebody. Somebody say, I know who I am. I walk in favor. I walk in power. I walk in victories. Jam your hands together and celebrate God. Hallelujah. Thank you very much. Before we take our seat, I've not released you. Before we take our seat, can we please celebrate our senior pastors? Do you know why I say that? How many of you know God did not call me? Reverend called me. But A is equal to B, B is equal to C. Automatically, A is equal to C. You will get it when you get home. You can have your seats now. So let's turn our Bibles to Proverbs 30, verse 24. So this is the scriptures that we'll be reading. So you won't get home. And, sometimes when we write our notes down when we get home, especially for some of you that you use all this formatted notebook for your message, there is reference Bible passage. So this is what I'm giving to you now. So I won't be guilty of not giving you that. Proverb 30:24. 4 things on earth are small, yet they are extremely wise. Ants are creature of little strength, yet they store up their food in the summer. Let me to ask your neighbor, what's your own excuse? All right. I don't know how to pronounce this. All right, I'm using NIV. All right. So this particular creature, they are creature of little power, yet they make their home in cracks. Locusts have no king, yet they advance together in ranks. A lizard can be caught with the hand, yet it is found in king's palaces. So a lizard is strategic. So give me the first video. All right, if it is not ready.
A group of scientists placed 5 monkeys in a cage and in the middle a ladder with bananas on top. Every time a monkey went up the ladder, the scientists soaked the rest of the monkeys with cold water. After a while, every time a monkey went up the ladder, the others beat up the one on the ladder. After some time, no monkey dared go up the ladder, regardless of the temptation. Scientists then decided to substitute one of the monkeys. The first thing this new monkey did was go up the ladder. Immediately, the other monkeys beat him up. After several beatings, the new member learned not to climb the ladder, even though he never knew why. A second monkey was substituted, and the same occurred. The first monkey participated on the beating for the second monkey. The replacements repeated until what was left was a group of 5 monkeys that, even though never received a cold shower, continued to beat up any monkey who attempted to climb the ladder. If you asked the new group of monkeys why the beatings took place, the answer would probably be,
"Well, I don't know. That's just how things are done around here."
All right. Do we get the gist? This is a research that even though they brought 5, they replaced all the wet monkeys with dry monkeys. Any monkey that they bring into that group that want to climb, the dry monkeys that never experienced water splashing will beat that monkey. See, there are some things that you do. If they ask you, why do you do them? They said, that's the way we've been told. How many of you have heard the story of Nigeria and India before? Football match. Then there was a guy called Tonda Balogun, right? Have you found the video on YouTube? But that's even flimsy. The way you cook, probably that was actually the way your great-grandmother cooked. You put onion into frying oil. And I don't know if your daughter asks you, so that's the way we cook. So, there are some myths that we have about leaders and leadership. Have you asked yourself, who said it? Is it true? Number 1, leaders are born that way. That you have leaders, it could actually be their gene. They were wired that way. But it's a lie. Leadership is like driving. If you could learn how to drive, you could learn how to lead. Somebody say, I can learn how to lead. Somebody say, leadership is learnable. Everyone can be a leader. Number 2, leaders have all the answers. No. But leaders know how to get people to provide the answers. You know, the owner of Ali Baba one day said that, I don't know how to do some of these things, but I'm smart enough to make all these smart guys to work together. You see, sometimes, what you want to do, you will learn how to drive, you learn how to cook, you learn how to serve, you learn how to wash plates, You cannot do everything. But you can learn how to make all of these people to work together to achieve something, because I don't have all the answers. And you will kill yourself as a leader when you begin to think that I have all the answers. Because if you think you have all the answers, that means you want to share the same attributes with God. And it can't work. Leaders are made for spotlights. Sometimes they will see them. But most of the time, their work is underground. How many of you have led a house fellowship before? And you think it's to speak. That is the 10% of the work. Because by the time your member is in the hospital and they call you, you have to go. Is that spotlight? The next one. Leaders work smart. You've heard that before? Not hard. Leaders work hard too. Leaders work hard too. You see, you would need the strength to follow up on 5 people. When you fulfill that, God will increase you. To follow up on 10 people. Do you know what following up it means? Even though you are not the one doing it. Have you done it? Let me celebrate Reverend. If you tell him something, figures 0.76, he will follow up in the middle of the night. And so you now be wondering that if he's following up on me, he's following up on other people. So, working smart, yes. Working hard, yes. Next one. Leader is the loudest person in the room. No. Somebody say no. Leaders are extroverted. You see, some of us will think leaders have the people that would. But let me tell you something. I don't know, I've not read that in leadership, but an introvert can be a leader. An extrovert can be a leader. But in sales, which I know of, introverts are better salespeople. Yes. There's a difference between marketing and sales. I hope you know that. Marketing is... Okay. Let me give an example that is... I gave an example at Faith Foundation the other time. But let me give an example that is... The woman that wakes you up, come and buy Ogi. That is marketing. When you call her to exchange values for the Ogi, that is sales. Marketing is big signage. Sales is converting customers. But this is what happens. Extroverts are good marketers, but they are poor salespeople. Introverts are somewhat poor marketers, but they are good salespeople. Because if you want to get 10 people, how many people do you reach out to? You reach out to 100. That is sales. That is sales. If you want 10 people to buy from you, you don't reach out to 10. You reach out to how many? Law of 10%. But an extrovert will reach out to 100. But to follow up becomes a problem. But if an introvert reaches out to 20, it will follow up on the 20. But the beautiful thing about it is that if you know yourself and you know the shortcomings that you have, you can work on it. Being an extrovert or being an introvert. Leaders don't show sign of weakness. Somebody say no. Leadership is meant for certain people. I want to hear. No. In fact, you will see the definitions of leadership that I got from the book of the month. The conversation that a guy had with his mentor and 4 other guys. Leaders only lead, they don't follow. Last week, Pastor D said that you are not qualified to lead if you don't follow. Leader's idea is the best. Somebody say no. Let me just run through them. Leaders, you are not leading if you don't have followers. It's a lie. You may not have followers that are following you, like leadership, followership kind of model, but you are influencing some people. You know the way you put your bets, a 14-year-old guy in your neighborhood is looking at you. You say, that is how Brother Kabiru put his bet. You know, when you put your bulk of your bet here. That is leadership. So that's why sometimes where you want to peace, it can be leadership. Because somebody else will come and will do that. And you know who led him there? Not Holy Spirit. You did. That's leadership. Leaders keep their emotions in check. Not always. Leaders must be controlling. No. Leaders are smarter than every other person. No. Leaders are smarter than every other person. Then why does he go to hospital? Why does he go to the mechanics? Leaders have a title. It's a no. So let me just run through the leadership definitions that I got from the Book of the Month. Fantastic book. Leadership is about, so I'm going to read each definition, and I will ask you, can you? If you think you can, you say, yes, I can. Praise God. So leadership is about taking ownership. Can you do that? Can you do that? Leadership is being excellent in your current role. Can you do that? I think only people in front can. Leadership is about desire to be involved and commitment to make a difference. Can you make a difference? Leadership is about making a difference. Can you make a difference? Leadership is about having an unshakable faith in your own vision. Can you do that? Then having confidence in your power to make positive changes. Leadership is the ability to inspire, influence, and elevate each person you meet by the gift of a great example. Can you do that? I got these definitions from the conversations in the book. Because I was expecting to say a leader is someone that has gone to Harvard Business School and will sit in the corner office and will read everybody's report and will tell them when and how to submit the report. Leadership is living life passionately that can drive positive change in the face of negative condition. Leadership is treating everyone with respect, appreciation, and kindness. Leadership is commitment to making everything you thought to be better than you found it. It is the power of consistent innovation. You see, if you can do this, then you are a leader. If you can take ownership, then you are a leader. There was this story about rabbits and tortoise, or tortoise. Japa. So one day, the tortoise challenged a rabbit to a race. You know, when something like that happens, think twice if you are the rabbit. The guy must have a strategy. You know what we read? We read about lizard. You can easily catch it, but he has a strategy. So he said, let's run. Rabbit looked at him and said, you won't die? You know that kind of, when he said, you won't die? He said, let's run. All right. In fact, rabbit said, choose the terrain. All right. So, tortoise said, you know what? You run by the riverside where you have this canopy tree. You know trees that they call canopy tree. So, they started. Rabbit ran. Got to a point. He looked back. He could not find the tortoise. He said, I told this guy. He said, I can even beat him with my eyes closed. So I said, you know what? Why do I need to waste my energy on this guy? That's actually the finish line I'm looking at. Let me just take a nap. The guy sat down by that oak tree, took a nap, and it was napped. The guy was just coming. Slow and steady, wins the race. So the guy got to the finish line. And so the guy just said, so when eventually the rabbit woke up, he said, I told him, he's yet not here again. So let me just stroll to the finish line. As he got to the finish line, he met Mr. Tortoise, sitting down, crossing his legs. And he said, how did you do it? You know what Tortoise said? He said, I will take consistency over speed any time. I will take consistency over speed anytime. Some of us, you want to write a book, or you want to have a project. You start 1 week, you won't go out. Then after 6 months, nothing is done. Then, but do you know that project, if you do it 2 hours in a day, or 30 minutes in a day, in 6 months you will complete it. You know, there's a guy called Albert Gray. How many of you have heard about Gray before? Read that book that Barrister Victor told us in first service. You meet the guy there. But I'd known the guy before the book. The book is called 5 a.m. Club. This guy wanted to do a research. He said, what is the common denominator of success? I just want to know. So he went to the mechanic, he went to the lecturer, he went to the professors, he went to everybody. He did the research for 11 years. How many said 11 years? You know, some of us, we in Nigeria, we just love to do movies 11 days. If we are going to get to that, movies 11 days. Cut, join. Grab your copy now. He said, so the research, he came up with 16 words. That's the conclusion of a research. Not, do you understand? And this is what he said. He said, successful people make a habit of doing things that unsuccessful people do not like to do. Let me repeat it one more time. Successful people make a habit of what unsuccessful people do not like to do. So I got 3 points from his research. He said, number 1, things that successful people don't like to do are the same things that unsuccessful people don't like to do. Both of them don't like it. I don't like what I hate. Both of them don't like it. Successful people and unsuccessful people, both of them know what to do. The number 3, successful people do them anyhow. So it is not in what you know, it's in what you do. The conclusion is, if you want to get a better result, you want to get a better result, get a better action. Get a better action. What you get is a result of what you do. And what you do is a result of who you have become. And who can tell me what is the greatest process of forming a human being? It's called habit. Somebody say habit. Being precedes doing. Doing precedes having. To get a different result from what you are getting presently, you have to do things differently. For you to do differently, you have to become someone you have not been before. I still read in that book again. But you know we've read the Bible verse. All right. So when I'm saying that, I say, is this church? What is that? The book of the month. The greatest of all reward is achievement. In fact, they said the best motivation is when you achieve something. It will want to make you to achieve more. So, if you want to be motivated, achieve something. One guy said, I don't know if you've seen the video, said when I wake up every morning, the first thing that I do, I lay my bed. At least I've done something. I've completed a task. Morning devotion. You need to have, when I get to the office, I will finish it. You are not completing it. The challenge is that you cannot achieve your dream at the level that you are having it. Ask Joseph. He got the dream in his father's house. But the dream could not have come to pass in his father's house. So, the difference between you and your nephew is not dream. So it takes a dream. It's a lie. It doesn't take a dream. It takes working on the dream. Do you know, have you seen teenagers these days? Even not teenagers, preteens. If you speak to them, you think, is it the school that I went to or my generation? Their ideas are Jesus. But if those ideas are not aided by adults, they won't achieve them. So you need to give them permission to achieve them. So what am I saying? Let me to tell your neighbor, idea is cheap. Dreams are plenty. That's why some of us, sometimes when you approach people and you say, I have an idea. No, that's not the way to go to mentors or to people ahead of you. You know, I was teaching business model canvas at Faith Foundation 2 weeks ago or last week. And I was telling them, I said, you know what? When you have a business idea, because in business model canvas, you have 9 different points. You have the cost structure. You have the pricing. You have the customer segmentation. You have different segments that you need to take, because you need to take, you have competition that is even doing that thing on a larger scale with cheaper prices. And you are excited. So sometimes when you go to all these rich guys, business guys, and the guy begins to ask questions, said, that guy is a, what do you call them? That guy is a hater. He has seen over time that a business idea cannot make itself a product. Even if it makes itself a product cannot buy itself. Because in that mode there's actually what is called channel. And you just have an idea. You will let us rest. Like seriously. So when you have someone to ask you questions, listen. Say, honestly, I've not considered this, but what do you think? Because they've seen. One of the things that if you have a business idea, how you grow in business or at your startup stage, watch all these business pitching shows on YouTube. Some people will come. Watch Shark. Some people will come. You can be rigid with your idea, but be flexible with your method. In fact, who tells you that you can't change your idea? Samsung, you know Samsung. How many of you know Samsung? How many of you know Samsung had sold food before? Go and read the story of Samsung. They didn't start with electronics. But this is the caveat. You will not get to electronics if you do not start with food. So, what you have in your hand, test it. So, the other guy that came after me was teaching business plan. And the first thing that he said that sometimes you don't need business plan, and I agree. Test your business on a low scale. This is not what I want to talk about. I don't know. Somebody is pulling it, even though it doesn't look like we are in church, but Holy Spirit is present. Yes, he's the one that serves every man with his own answers. Because we prayed and we expected this to happen. Sometimes you don't just, because by the time you finish your business plan, time has gone, price has changed, dollar has risen. But by the time you are scaling, write it. But before you start it, so test it. There is actually a small model of your big business. Is it the spirit of Wednesday that is working in me? I rebuke you. Let's go back. So in first service, Barrister Victor told us about discipline. Let me just run through them. And I want to talk about discipline too, because you need discipline to form to let your habits thrive. And I want to talk about like 10 disciplines. Number 1, the discipline of clarity. Somebody say clarity. To be clear. So there was this story. There was this CEO guy. He was in Mexico for a vacation. And he rented a fisherman's boat. So, and you know, they were doing what they call leisure fishing. That you will fish, you catch fish, you return the fish back to... They should go to those states. Leisure what? They will catch fish, they will return the fish back. Just want to, the joy of catching. Achievements, yeah. So, at a point in the evening, they were talking. He said, you know what? The CEO said that, you know what? You can actually do this fishing on a big scale. The guy said, yes, then what? Then you buy a bigger boat. Then you will fish more. He said, then what? He said, then you will buy a bigger boat and you have a storage. He said, then what? Then you can be shipping to America. He said, then what? He said, when you ship to America, you can find franchises. He said, then what? Then you scale up. He said, then what? You become a business. Then what? He said, you will be recognized on the Wall Street. He said, then what? Then they will sell shares. He said, guys said, then what? He said, when you have shares, then after a while you retire. I said, then what? Then you come to a small village. He said, then what? You buy a small boat. Then what? He said, then you go home in the evening and play with your children. He said, then what? Then you retire and living fine in that village. The farmer said, I'm already there. Sometimes we look at other people to define what our life should be. The first discipline that you need is the discipline of being clear with what you want. So if I say, who are you? If you can tell me who you are without mentioning your name or any descriptions that I can see for myself, then you are telling me who you are. Because who you are is more than your name. Who you are is more than your age. Who you are is more than where you've been and what you have studied. Who you are is talking about your essence. So, I mean to write it down. Who am I? And I'm telling you, you need to think about that. But you know the first point of reference. Check the Bible. Let me tell you something. You will get the general knowledge of who you are in the Bible. Then you get the specific knowledge of who you are in the Bible. You know, John the Baptist said, I am the voice of one. Somebody say, I know who I am. Who are you? What do you want? Sometimes you don't know what you want to. Don't worry, I'm watching time. Sometimes you don't know what you want. Sometimes what we want eventually we still want more. Or we want something different. What was I born to do? That is the first thing to start when it comes to leadership. Because, see, they will say in a normal management balance that you need to know where you are going to before you lead other people there. So you are your own leader. You incorporated. So where are you taking yourself to? Like, if, except, say you want to take your wife out, say where? Say, don't worry, where? That one you can agree because you want an element of surprises. But by the time you begin to drive around 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, he said, "Okay, are you sure there is petrol in this car?" But you are leading yourself. Where do you want to lead yourself to? That's the first question of a leader without a title. Because you have a role, and that role is leading yourself. So one of the things that you can say is that, what enterprise do I want my name to be put on eventually? What enterprise? Because if I say Michael Jordan now, I don't need you to say basketball. Even though he tried other things. How many of you know he tried other sports? If I say Peter Cech, how many of you know you won't remember Arsenal, you remember Chelsea? But how many of you know that last week he went to sign for a cricket team? But he is just doing overtime. You know, when you are restless, you have money. So, what enterprise do you want your name to be attached to? Music, fine. What kind of music? You see, ability to ask yourself drilling questions will lead you to where you've never known before. I want to be a pastor. What kind of pastors? If you know me, you know what I'm thinking. What kind of pastors do you want to be? What kind of musician do you want to be? What kind of farmer do you want to be? What kind of business? Even so you attach it to it. You see, if I don't finish it, I can go now. My job is done, right? Then have you paid attention to your talents? See, I know what I can do more than an average person. But I'm tempted by other things too. But I ask myself questions. If I go on these directions, will I be the best in it? See, there are some things that sometimes you just need to outsource. Or you need to collaborate and focus on the things that make you. I mean, you know what we learned? BIW. What's the full meaning? Best in the world. Book of the month. What are you going to do that? So let me just go ahead. What are your values? You see, values is a whole lot. Value don't mean, you know, when you go to some company, they will say integrity. All those ones are gibberish. English. It could be, I value knowledge. So I place premium on, or say, I value God. I place premium on God. I serve God. I give to people. These are the things that will drive you. Some of us, we have goals. But your goals will never be fruitful. Because your values are not aligned. Some of us, we have values that you think that if the money is too much, it must be dirty. And your goal is to achieve 10 million naira in 6 months. I'm telling you, you cannot achieve it. Because there's actually in your subconscious, you repel it. Because you won't be able to attract people that will give you such money because you think those people are dirty and you have a value. Not your humanity won't show. I'm telling you research. So what are your vision? So let me quickly go through. Pastor D did a fantastic job. So let me just go through it. Vision is about what you want to become. Vision is about you. Mission is about the other person. Mission is from the word missionary. So what is my vision? What do you want to become? What do you want to achieve? I want to be the best cobbler in Bashoru. That is my own vision. So vision is selfish. It's about you. But mission is, what do you want your customers to feel? So when they wear it, it is excellent and they can recommend me. So that is why we do this. So how do you want to feel? So you be a model. So you be a sales, customers. You fulfill destinies, customers. But visions, we want to be a church that is friendly. Do you get it now? So, and vision does not have to be English. You see that? Yes, because that is what we do. You just see some people. Okay, let me give you a research. Let me give you an experience of a guy called Greg Neon, the guy that wrote the discipline of pursuit of less, essentialism. He said that, so he was in Stanford. He said that this professor came, and he said, this today we want to review mission statement and vision statements of NGOs. And he said, all these NGOs were just reading. He said they were gibberish. He said, until they came to Brad Pitt's company. You know what Brad Pitt's company says? Brad Pitt's company says, in the next 24 months, we want to build, he went to New Orleans after the tsunami. He said, in the next 24 months, we want to build 125 building that. He said, everybody just kept quiet, that this looks like a vision. Don't try to speak English. In the 90s, Walmart had a vision. He said, you know what their vision was? He said, by year 20,000, we want to be a $125 billion corporation. That is it. Don't speak English. Something that when you get there, you will know. And your values doesn't have to be integrity. Sometimes integrity is an English word that is heavy. Look for it, could be Yoruba. So you don't have to do many things. But even if you are doing many things, be clear. Because they are what is called chop business. I just want to use this to escape. Number 2. Okay. Number 2, discipline of control. I'll stop in the next 5 minutes. Let me see if I can do that. Discipline of control. There are 2 brothers that one was successful, one was not successful. And when they went to the one that was not successful, they said, how come your brother is so, how come you are unsuccessful? The guy said, I had no choice. My father was a drunkard. He was not successful. How do you expect me to turn out? So they went to the other brother that was successful. They asked him the same answer. So that led me to what they call theory of locus of control. You know what they call locus of control? It says that it's the degree to which you think the external or the outcomes of your life is the degree to which you have control of the events of your life. Some people, it's my father. Some people, it's my uncle. Forget those uncles that said, are you serving now? When you are done, let me know. They won't pick your call. I know they will pick your call. But you see, say this with me. If it is going to be, it is up to me. So that is the moment you take responsibility for your eventuality, like Reverend always says, then you are a leader. Number 3, the discipline of creativity. What's the first one? Number 2? Number 3? There was actually this blind boy. He was actually the corner of a street. So he had his hat in his hand and he had a signage. And people were dropping 1 or 2 naira, 1 or 2, 1, 2. But one guy came. One guy took off the signage and wrote something different. And in less than an hour, the hat was filled up. So the guy came back in the evening to see what had happened. And you know, blind people, they can smell people. He said, you came in the morning. What did you do? He said, I just wrote the same thing that you have in your signage in a different way. And people began to drop. So what did I write? I am blind, help me. And I said, what did you now write, Mr. Man? He said, it's a beautiful day. But the unfortunate thing is, I cannot see it. And that compelled people to be dropping money. Sometimes you need discipline of doing things you've been doing exactly the same way in an innovative way. So we learned something in that book called Image. How many of you remember Image? What's the first one? Innovation. That is innovations. Then discipline of capacity building. Let me just run through them. Some of us, it's been researched that most people, like in fact, 90% of people do not go for extra training after they've gone into a job. That the first training that they did for them, orientation, that's the only training. How do you want to become a master? I don't mean master, but you need to build capacity. Number 5, discipline of competence. Top 20 people in any industry take 80% of the share in that industry. Top leaders in any industry have mastered the crafts and committed to doing a good job no matter what happens. So if you are a carpenter and you carpenter a chair, 4-legged chairs, and one leg is not touching ground, are you competent? Number 8, we are getting there. Discipline of change management. The number 6. All right, it's number 6. So that means we are following. Discipline of change management. The world has changed. In fact, in the last 20 years, the world has changed more in the last 20 years than it has changed in the last 200 years. The world will change in the next 5 years more than it has changed or it is changing now. So what's now the essence of our government telling our secondary school students, especially in JSS3, to use typewriter? Yes, business study. It is compulsory. So I just use that as an example. But do you know that you are using typewriter? Are you bracing yourself up for what is going to happen? You know when mechanic tell you that don't buy a car, it is not good. It is because he cannot fix it. How will an Igbo man, a car that passes to quality control, but because you've mastered Toyota, said Toyota is the best. Even that Toyota that they are talking about, in the next 5 years, if they carry all of these cars, they won't be able to fix them. So that is true for a mechanic. Is it true for your own industry? Sila. All right. Let me jump to the next one. Discipline of courage. I will choose courage over talent anytime. Forget talent. You need courage to start, courage to take risk, courage to make decision, courage to have difficult conversation. I was talking about cold call in first service. Do you know that the money that God has put your money in the hands of strangers, but you don't want to talk to them? Sometimes you need to pick up a call and call someone that you don't even know, you've not seen before. Then you've become a leader when you have courage to have difficult conversations. Someone said difficult conversations. All right. Next one is discipline of calculated moves. It talks about strategy. Let me just so I don't. There's actually a story of hedgehog and foxes. How many of you know what they call hedgehog? This story was actually from Tom Peters, the guy that wrote Beat to Last. See, they said this guy knows how to do everything, but this small guy, knows how to do one thing. So this guy has never killed this guy. Because he knows how to do one thing. He will go into his shell. And the foxes will just be kicking it. And it tells us 3 things. He said, the concept tells us that 3 things. Number 1, what are you deeply passionate about? What can you be the best in the world? Number 3, what drives your economic engine? Do you have that next one? Next. I want to show them something. All right. Okay, so let me just read it to us. What you get, and I'm going to end here. What you get in your career depends on 5 things. Your reward. Number 1, what you do. How well you do it. Who you do it for. How difficult is it to find a replacement for you? And how critical is it? 5 things. Can I go through? Do you want me to go through over it again? Number 1, what you do. Number 2, how well you do it. Number 4, the next number. How difficult is it to find a replacement for you? Then number 5, how critical is it? Then last one, I've actually jumped so many things. The discipline of continuous improvement. So let's just go over it again. What was the first one that we mentioned? Clarity. Control. Next one. All right, let me end this story. So we're not going to play that. We actually have a concluding part of Tortoise and it's a video. But we're not going to play it. Time is gone. But let me end with this story. Let me first tell you one story. There's actually another discipline. It's actually another discipline of copying. There was a guy that is GMD at that time just said, help me to photocopy my resume. He wanted to go for a political post. And you need. So the guy photocopied 2 copies. Took one home. And he sat down. He said, this man did not just rise by mouth. So he took the CV, true life story, pasted it. And he said, I'm going to follow everything. Even though the GMD became a senator, in 6 years, this guy became the GMD. True life story. Because that's actually, they call it reference group. Which group are you benchmarking yourself with? So lastly, the discipline of continuous improvement. In 1972, as I end this, in 1972, there was a guy called John Naba. John Naba was sitting in front of his TV, and it was Munich 1972 Olympic. And there was a guy called Mike Spitz. The guy won everything. This Mike Spitz won everything. So the second day, the guy went back to his school. That is John Naba. He told his coach, he said, I saw a guy yesterday, and he won everything. How can I beat the guy in the next 4 years? The coach laughed. The coach said, you know what, John, enter into water. John, so when he said, you know what, this is actually the time, the gap between you and the current world champion. But if you want to beat him, you need to improve on your speed by 1/5 of eye blink every day. 1/5 of eye blink every day. And if you can commit to that, you will win. You can go to his website, johnneighbor.com. They did not break. So in 1976, different things happened. The guy was standing side by side with Mike Spitz. The guy dusted Mike Spitz like anything. Cleared all the world record. You know why? And I end with this. What we learned in the book of the month. That as a leader, when I mean as a leader, I don't mean you are on top of anybody. That you are leading yourself to a greater place. A ripple of daily achievement will bring a tsunami of success. So my question to you this morning is, what are you going to commit to daily that's going to give you a tsunami of success? Thank you very much.